Hey, what's going on, Isaiah? I wanted to give you some notes on yesterday's session. I kind of felt like it was a little bit confusing with the scientific notation, so I wanted to practice a little bit and then send you this video so that way you can see how we got the numbers we got. So let's take this very first one that we tried, which was 147 kilometers to micrometers. We need to convert that. So kind of like how we figured out yesterday. The key to all this is figuring out the conversion. So 1 kilometer is equal to 10 to the 9 power micrometers. All right. So that cool thing that we did with the cross cancellation, that's what we're going to do here. So we're going to have 147 kilometers, right? And we're trying to cancel kilometers. We're going to put kilometers on the bottom, and we're going to put the micrometers on the top. Okay, so we have 1 kilometer and we have 10 to the 9 micrometers. All right, so then what you're going to do is, of course, we get that cancellation going, so that's going to cancel. All right, so then what we have to multiply, or what's left, is we have this 147 and we have this 10 to the 9 micrometers. So let me show you what happens. So we have 147 times 10 to the 9, and we're in the micrometers. Now, what you have to do, or what I found was easiest, is we're going to put this in scientific notation, this 1.47. So the way we do that is we actually are going to move this decimal place that's imaginary right here. We're going to move it 2 times. So we're going to go 1, 2, and that's a total of 10 to the second. So we move it 2 times, that's 10 to the second. So what's going to happen is this changes to 1.47 times 10 to the second. And then we're going to do times 10 to the 9. So again, you want to change this to scientific notation first by moving it however many times, because 1.47 times 10 to the second is the same thing as 147. So anyway, now what you want to do is you're going to, whoops, that's too big. You're going to combine these 10 to the 9 and 10 to the 2. When you put those together, it's going to turn into 10 to the 11. So the answer will be 1.47 times 10 to the 11th power. Okay, so I found that this example clearly puts out how the scientific notation works for when we're switching units. So I thought that was super helpful and I wanted to show you. So let's do a couple more examples. So I also wanted to try, what was the other one that I did? This one right here, the nanoseconds one. So for this one, we have 789 nanoseconds, and we're converting to microseconds, or milliseconds, sorry. So again, we need to know the conversion for that. So the conversion, I have, 1 second, is right here. Okay, awesome. So the conversion I have is 1 millisecond is exactly 10 to the 6 nanoseconds. All right, so then what we have here is we have 789, and we're in nanoseconds, and we're trying to cancel nanoseconds, so we're going to put that on the bottom, and we're converting to milliseconds. So again, we have 10 to the 6 nanoseconds, and then on top we have 1 millisecond. So we're going to see that these two cancel, the nanoseconds and the nanoseconds. So what are we left with? We're left with 789 times 1, which is the same thing as 789. And then we have 10 to the 6 on the bottom. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to move that 10 to the 6 on top, and that's going to turn that negative. So we have 789 times 10 to the negative 6. All right. So again, what you want to do is you want to take this guy and make him scientific notation. So we're going to move this twice. So we have an imaginary decimal place. We're going to move it twice. 1, 2. That's 10 to the second. So then what we have is we have 7.89 times 10 to the second times 10 to the negative 6. So again, these are going to combine, right? So 2 minus 6 is going to be negative 4. So then what we're going to get is we're going to get 7.89 times 10 to the negative 4. Okay, that'd be the answer. So again, I felt like this was a really good example to show you, and I wanted to make sure that you saw exactly where the calculations were coming from. because I kind of felt like there was a little bit of confusion, at least on my end. I was like, how are these numbers working out exactly? So I wanted to make sure I got it to you exactly the way it needed to. And I worked out one more example, so we'll just go ahead and do that just for practice. So the last example is with the megawatts. So we have 95.6 megawatts, and we're converting to hectowatts. So again, know the conversion. So 1 megawatt is exactly 10 to the 4 hectowatts. So we have 95.6, and again, we start off with megawatts. We're trying to cancel megawatts. We're going to put that on the bottom. All right, and we're converting to hectowatts. All right, so 1 megawatt is 10 to the 4. All right, so we're going to cancel out, and we're going to be left with 95.6 times 10 to the 4. All right, so again, we're going to turn this into scientific notation. So to do that, we're going to move this decimal over just one time. So the decimal's over here, and we only moved it one time, so that's only going to be 10 to the 1. So then now what we have is we have 9.56 times 10 to the 1 times 10 to the 4. All right, and now we can combine these. 10 to the 1 times 10 to the 4 is the same thing as saying 10 to the 5. So we have 9.56, whoops, that's an extra decimal, times 10 to the 5. Okay, there we go. All right, so hopefully that cleared that up. So again, the key point here is knowing your conversions and then just setting up the math the way we need to. And then also, this is super key, doing the scientific notation on this part first. That makes the math with the tens and everything a lot easier. So hopefully that's helpful. And yeah, I'll be sending you another video on some of the other problems that we had. But hopefully this was helpful.